Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So, in the background, you can admire some various different bits and pieces of recording that I just accumulated a while ago, and I think that you spot one commonality between them. Now, today's topic sounds a little bit weird, but don't worry, it will make sense. Unlike the stuff that I'm talking about, and that is War Thunder's problems problem. Now, if I look about 30 minutes into YouTube and watch War Thunder videos, it's a good mixture of gameplay, reviews, and just all sorts of videos, but a huge portion of it is exploits, bugs, and things that don't work in the game. The game is equally defined by its awesomeness, by its huge potential, and the problems, the bugs, the glitches. And it's infuriating for long-term players, like I think of myself for the better part of 8 years, and also other content creators. And I think that I speak not just for myself, but also a good portion of the War Thunder community and YouTubers that it could be much better. And I also just get the trend that people talk about the various different problems in War Thunder, vehicle specific or just in general an issue. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the problems of the problems because, well, they could be either avoided altogether and they can be fixed. The problem is Gaijin. Gaijin is the ultimate problem here because, well, they either cause those problems to be on purpose or by their incompetence, and that is never a good mixture. And for a very long time, I myself thought that not the content creators, that the Gaijin devs are not playing their own game. So either I'm right and that's bad, or they are playing the game, and then explain to me why there still is all the issues in the game that there are. Because it's just like with everything. Either they don't know that those problems exist, and I'm not talking about rare glitches, I'm talking about the big problems, right? Either they just don't know, then they are outright incompetent and shouldn't be in charge of this, or they know of this and then they either should not be in charge of this. Now, Jingles made a video a couple of days ago where he mentioned this and said, yeah, those problems are fundamentally institutionalized. But he was talking about wargaming. However, there are certain similarities between wargaming and Gaijin when it comes to how they handle certain things. And so this is where I draw a comparison. So the problems all together. Let me just go a little bit into the more specific parts, what I'm talking about. So when the problems are vehicle based, then just have a test server, have the dev server being transformed to be open longer so that people can go into every single detail and test vehicles in actual combat situations. Because I fully admit, I am, as a YouTuber, have the full priority to make a video about the new stuff in the game. And certain things are obvious, like faulty 3D models, whatever. But certain issues, they just have to be played in an actual match where you shoot people, you get shot, etc. And then you can file a bug report. That is point number one. But Gaijin doesn't do this. However, this has been suggested and recommended for years on the Gaijin community or content creator Discord. And Gaijin doesn't listen. There are always the same excuses. Oh, this is not in the interest of the devs. This is technically not possible, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, they don't do this. Then there are things where they get deliberately mishandled. Think about premium tanks that are way too strong or deliberately bugged where armor plates are too strong. Think about the T-29. Think about the Tiger II's side plating of the turret. Think about the IS-6, There was some magic additional plates, or they were just outright stronger. And various different other problems could be pointed out as various different examples. But again, I am too specific. The problem is that more problems get piled up than can get solved. And it is, again, avoidable. The other thing is that, believe it or not, as I just mentioned, Gaijin profits from those issues. And this is where a different perspective has to be mentioned. We as players, we want to play the game. We want to just shoot things and we want the game to work. I personally don't mind spending a good portion of money on the game if the game works, if the game is fun, but fun and War Thunder cannot really be mentioned in the same sentence except being divided by a big knot. And let me tell you, Gaijin profits of those problems by quite a bit. I give you another example. Think about the first introduction of night battles. They were poorly made and people were outraged. There were various different nations that for a very big battle rating spread didn't have any tanks with night vision devices, not even speaking of thermal imaging at all in the tech tree. Then premiums got there that had it, and well, this opens the players' wallets. Either you then go for your stock tank and you purchase the module outright, spending golden eagles, etc., or you purchase the very best premium tank. And again, Gaijin profits of this. Flares, which are a logical thing to introduce here to give at least some chances to players. Remember those battles where it was pitch black night? They were introduced only after this quote-unquote problem made the probably calculated profit from the player base. So Gaijin is scamming the players like they just used to do in the past, but they're doing it differently. It's a weird combination of absolute incompetence and greed. And yet, one of the biggest issues has to do with the community. Because if this wouldn't be immensely profitable, Gaijin wouldn't do this. Why is it still immensely profitable? Because there is no united community. Only when there was the parts and FPE screw up, this was when the entirety of the community gave a shout out to a certain streamer, and then Gaijin kind of dropped the requirements for a while and then tuned it back up, and just a small remnants is left of this scandal as an example. And yeah, what do you define as the community? Is it everybody that ever played War Thunder? Do you include people that do not even watch the YouTube videos or never went to the forums, Reddit, War Thunder Live, you name it? Because there are various different people that just occasionally play War Thunder. Then there are those who make it a part of their daily life. There are people that have never spent a single cent on this game, and then others that really threw hundreds if not thousands of dollars or euros on the game, whatever. There is also then a good portion of people that just play either one vehicle type or that just are prioritizing one nation. They all have different agendas. They all, in the most cases, think very short-termly when it comes to their own benefits and their profits. And one player's problem is another player's benefit with the appropriate premium tank. So you can see that the problems with the problems in War Thunder are quite a bit there, and they all can be addressed. The big problem is Gaijin wouldn't profit from that as much as they do now. And that is the final issue, that Gaijin makes profit of the problems in War Thunder. And again, this has been mentioned by Max years ago, and he just simply didn't have the confidence that Gaijin is willing to address this. So, what to do about this? Well, I mentioned certain suggestions. Dev server, listening to the players, to the content creators, and just doing it. And I give you one example where Gaijin is really stubborn, and that is Never Forces. Look at the massive failure that Never Forces is when it comes to the tech trees, the stock grind, but also then the queue times, thanks to the player base being so low because of all the issues, hence causing more issues like even more compression to try to desperately cut down the queue times and then being forced to introduce bots. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy in War Thunder, and that is a real shame because there is no game like it. There is no competition that even comes close. And what else is missing? Fairness and fun. So I leave that one there for you to just think about it. Maybe you agree or disagree. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as usual, you know where to hit the like button and to subscribe. Thanks.